Hello, and welcome to another episode of Watch With Me. And so we're watching today The World's Most Mysterious Book by Stephen Box. It was uploaded on TED in 2017. Maybe you have seen it. I haven't seen it, but apparently 6,822,138,000 people have already seen it. And I'm like, how did I miss this? Because I really, really like TED. This entire concept of making animations out of stuff that people would just pass by if they saw it in an article or something that's not too long. It's just technically it's like a 5 minute read. Think about it like that. And it's just amazing to me. So let's go ahead and actually start watching it. I hope it's interesting. Let's get.
Deep inside Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library lies the only copy of a 240-page tome. Recently carbon dated to around 1420, its vellum pages feature looping handwriting and hand-drawn images seemingly stolen from a dream. Real and imaginary plants, floating castles, bathing women, astrology diagrams, zodiac rings, and suns and moons with faces accompany the text. This 24 by 16 centimeter book is called the Voynich manuscript, and it's one of history's biggest unsolved mysteries. The reason why? No one can figure out what it says. The name comes from Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish bookseller who came across the document at a Jesuit college in Italy in 1912. He was puzzled. Who wrote it? Where was it made? What do these bizarre words and vibrant drawings represent? What secrets do its pages contain? He purchased the manuscript from the cash-strapped priest at the college and eventually brought it to the US, where experts have continued to puzzle over it for more than a century. Cryptologists say the writing has all the characteristics of a real language, just one that no one's ever seen before. What makes it seem real is that in actual languages, letters and groups of letters appear with consistent frequencies, and the language in the Voynich manuscript has patterns you wouldn't find from a random letter generator. Other than that, we know little more than what we can see. The letters are varied in style and height. Some are borrowed from other scripts, but many are unique. The taller letters have been named gallows characters. The manuscript is highly decorated throughout with scroll-like embellishments. It appears to be written by 2 or more hands, with the painting done by yet another party. Over the years, 3 main theories about the manuscript's text have emerged. The first is that it's written in cipher, a secret code deliberately designed to hide secret meaning. The second is that the document is a hoax, written in gibberish to make money off a gullible buyer. Some speculate the author was a medieval conman, others that it was Voynich himself. The third theory is that the manuscript is written in an actual language, but in an unknown script. Perhaps medieval scholars were attempting to create an alphabet for a language that was spoken, but not yet written. In that case, the Voynich manuscript might be like the Rongo-Rongo script invented on Easter Island, now unreadable after the culture that made it collapsed. Though no one can read the Voynich manuscript, that hasn't stopped people from guessing what it might say. Those who believe the manuscript was an attempt to create a new form of written language speculate that it might be an encyclopedia containing the knowledge of the culture that produced it. Others believe it was written by the 13th century philosopher Roger Bacon, who attempted to understand the universal laws of grammar. Or in the 16th century, by the Elizabethan mystic John Dee, who practiced alchemy and divination.
Any relationship
More
to John
fringe
Doe?
theories hold that the book was written by a coven of Italian witches, or even by Martians. After 100 years of frustration, scientists have recently shed a little light on the mystery. The first breakthrough was the carbon dating. Also, contemporary historians have traced the provenance of the manuscript back through Rome and Prague to as early as 1612, when it was perhaps passed from Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II to his physician Jacobus Sinapius. In addition to these historical breakthroughs, linguistic researchers recently proposed the provisional identification of a few of the manuscript's words. Could the letters beside these 7 stars spell Tarun, a name for Taurus, a constellation that includes the 7 stars called the Pleiades? Could this word be Centauron, for the centurion plant in the picture? Perhaps, but progress is slow. If we can crack its code, what might we find? The dream journal of a 15th century illustrator? A bunch of nonsense? or the lost knowledge of a forgotten culture? What do you think it is?
That is so interesting. Again, I'm going to stop it here for all of you that want to look at who did anything or go ahead. But that's so interesting to me because I think, what do you think? I actually think it's okay. So, background, I'm Nigerian, right? And there's like how many languages in my country? It's like 500 languages or something. And so you think to yourself, how many languages are going like extinct every day? And that because there's so many people and so many languages. And so it makes sense that somebody wrote something in a language and that society or culture is dead. And so no, nobody can read it. Which is why if you have a language, speak it to your kids. Teach it to your kids so that it never disappears. Because right now there's a book out there with knowledge that could probably help us, but we don't know how to read it. And that's it, it's interesting that for information, any type of information, like the information right now, like maybe you have a question right now, and it's not just books, right? It's probably information right now that you need, but that information is in Italian or in Chinese or in something random. And that's where all these kind of projects like Google Translate or Microsoft Translate, all those things are amazing because somehow through the internet, through all the stuff that's being done, we can all actually harness the knowledge and history of everybody else and actually come together and apply that knowledge in our everyday lives. So it's now not only kind of secluded or not only in that society or in that language, everybody else can actually use that knowledge to grow. Like it's just crazy. It's a like I think of the internet as a beautiful thing, and I think of just the sharing culture that we have now as an even more beautiful thing. Because if we have the internet and then we don't have the sharing culture where people are willing to learn from other people, people are curious about other people and the way they live, then we're just going to kind of shrivel and die out. Because just think of it as you as a tree being willing to dip your roots in any water source rather than saying, I only want fresh spring water. So it's very nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, that's the end. This is not too long. This is a really short video, and I hope you learned something or you're curious about something.